Hello, this is Bridget Rao with Divine Essentials. Alright guys, we're moving on to the next part of Manifesting Your Ideal Love or Your Ideal Union series. I did a poll and I asked which topic you guys would like me to discuss tonight, and you wanted me to do the power of attraction with love. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. I have 7 different tips or little points that we can discuss when it comes to manifesting love with the power of attraction. Now, the one that was the runner-up is vulnerability, so I'm definitely going to do that next week. I feel like it definitely goes hand in hand with some of the stuff we're going to discuss tonight, and it is very important when, getting into love to be vulnerable. So, the power of attraction is basically this concept of like attracting like. And you may find it easy to use or utilize the power of attraction in some areas, and maybe not so easy in others. Or you could be somebody that has struggled with it across the board. But basically, it's what you think, it's what you feel, and it's what you vibrate out that dictates what comes back to you. All right? So if you are dealing with, wanting money, all you have to do is shift the vibration, the beliefs, and the energy that you have surrounding that, and it can help you to attract it. If you're wanting to have better health, same concept. Now, I find that when you're dealing with love, it does get a little bit different here because money isn't walking around thinking and feeling on its own, but a person is. So if you're somebody out there that's wanting a specific person, it may be a little bit different, to utilize the power of attraction in regards to that than it would be to do so with money or health or other things like that, okay? And I'm not saying you can't use it in love or that you can't use it when trying to manifest a specific person. It just is a little bit different. And the best way to focus on this is instead of thinking about them or thinking about it being about them, realize that it's about you, okay? Instead of getting all caught up in them, put the focus back on you and realize this is about you shifting and you becoming what you want, okay? So what are you wanting is what you're trying to become. And that doesn't mean you're trying to become them. That means you're trying to become the version of yourself that is where you're wanting to be with them, okay? So, I know within this, list of stuff I have, I've already gone into depth with some of these things in earlier videos within the series, but there's definitely other parts here that I feel, will kind of either recap and give you a little bit of a different perspective with it, because I was trying to get people to steer away from the focus on one particular person from the beginning of the series. And again, tonight you can use this regardless. If you're dealing with somebody particular, or if you're dealing with somebody that you're already dealing with, or trying to get back into your life, or if you're single and trying to bring somebody new in, these concepts will work. But in the beginning, I was trying to get people to stay away from that because of that whole fact of, it's more about you than it is about them. But I know there are, ways of utilizing the power of attraction to manifest a specific person. There are ways to manifest a specific text or a specific phone call. However, with those things, they're quick gratification, and they don't always necessarily maintain. So when you watch one of those, watch this and, visualize a text message from a specific person, you may be able to get that text message and, you talk to them or things go okay for that moment, but if you haven't done all of these other steps and the work that's connected to it, you may find that after that text message, you go right back to where you had started. So doing it in this way will be a little bit more beneficial. And doing it with the focus of self is always going to be better than doing it with the focus on them. Because you can't change their mind, and you can't change their feelings, and you can't change their vibration. You can only work on yours, and by doing so, become more attractive to this other person. Okay? So the first thing within this is being clear with the universe. And again, we did do an entire video on this. Basically, getting clear about what it is that you're wanting when you're dealing with a love situation, or when you're, trying to attract in a love situation. It doesn't matter if it's a particular person or if it's, me just wanting to attract love in general. You want to be clear with what you're wanting with the universe, and you want to let the universe know what that is. So maybe you're wanting a committed relationship, or maybe you're wanting a committed relationship with Joe. Now, when you word it, a good way to do it would to be, I would like a committed relationship, or I'm manifesting a committed relationship with Joe or someone better, or I am, manifesting a committed and healthy relationship or something better. Okay, that way that you're not limiting yourself, because when you say with Joe, and at this time Joe can't show up for you in those ways, if you don't say or better, or being open and receptive to what the universe can deliver, you may shut yourself off to certain things that can support you and assist you while you're going through your manifestation and while you're shifting your energy and all of that. And particularly those of you who are single, if you put out there that you would like to manifest an ideal, committed, healthy relationship or something better, again, you're not limiting yourself. There may be somebody that can come in at this time that can give you bits and pieces of it, and as you shift and rise, they'll be able to match and rise alongside with you. So it's not me saying that you can't manifest it or like things like that. It may not necessarily seem better, but it's better for you because you may be wanting Joe to show up right now, but if you're asking for a specific thing that they can't give to you right now because of the vibration that you're in, the universe will kind of know what you mean by the essence that you're rippling out to deliver to you either that person at the capacity that they can come in, or somebody else that can fulfill you fully in the way that you deserve. Okay? And when you're being clear with the universe about what you want, be sure that you're clear. Okay? We did do this whole thing about, coming up with what that means to you, what it looks like, what it, how it progresses and things like that. But you don't want to be focusing on the opposite. So if you're trying to get a committed relationship with Joe, or you're just trying to get a committed relationship in general, but Joe ran, or Joe, you consider him the runner within your twin flame dynamic, or Joe ghosted you, or Joe's non-committal, or Joe's already committed to somebody else, and those are the things that you think about in regards to that person, or those are the feelings that you're connecting with, like, oh my god, but they're already this, and like I really want a committed relationship with Joe, but you're giving conflicting energy to the universe. The universe can't hear exactly what you're saying. It can only feel what you're vibrating out and what you're rippling around you. And so that's a very contradictive energy. And you don't want to be doing that because it's going to sabotage what you're trying to get. And you want to stop focusing on the things that you don't want. So if you want a committed relationship with Joe, stop calling him your runner. Stop, looking at the fact that he ghosted you or whatever. Try to get back into that place of I am manifesting a committed relationship with Joe, okay? Or someone better. Again, and that's about resistance too, because if it's like Joe, you may create resistance and block yourself. So just allow yourself to go with the flow when you're doing this. Now, if you're somebody that's single and you're like, I like a committed relationship, but every time I've gotten into one in the past, I've been cheated on, or I've been hurt, or there's so many people out there who are non-committal now, and conflicting. So make sure you're very clear with the universe, and you're not mixing things up by doubts and fears and sabotage and opposite of what you really want when you're putting this stuff out there. Now, number 2 is dream into being. When you're going to want to daydream and meditate, envision what it is that you're wanting. The type of personality that Joe has, or the type of personality that you, somebody who's single, is trying to attract into your life. How they're going to treat you, and the things that you're going to be passionate about together, the places that you're going to go together. What does it look like, taste like, smell like, feel like to be in this committed, connected relationship? All of the fun stuff that you're experiencing together, that feeling of being together and, confident and feeling happy and feeling loved and feeling supported, all of those things that go along with it. And even like the little details of, how many days of the week you see this person, how long are you going to date this person before it gets more serious, like what is ideal to you, which again, we did discuss in the first 2 videos a lot. So if you want to go back and do like the exercises with that, it's very beneficial for you to get very clear about this stuff. But these are the first steps here, and just making sure that you know what it is you're putting out there into the universe, and that you know what it is that you want. Like you want somebody who's going to be this, that, and the other. You're wanting somebody that's going to treat you a certain way, somebody that's going to have the same passion and desire as you. So number 3 is doubt. Now, you're going to want to release all fears and all of the doubts that you have when it comes to these things. So here you are putting out to the universe, like, I want a committed relationship with somebody that is stable and loyal and committed, somebody that treats me with respect and, makes me feel safe and warm. But if you start having those doubts come in of, well, how? Or what if? Or what if they end up hurting me? Or what if they end up cheating on me? Or how is that going to happen? Joe's already over here. Or Joe already left me. Or blah, 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 blah. All these doubts and all these fears, which basically probably comes from unconscious fears that you could be holding on to due to being hurt in the past or due to whatever you've already been through with this person. You could be basically blocking yourself, and that could have been what led to you and Joe separating in the first place. Maybe he really liked you and you really liked him, but you couldn't fully be vulnerable and open up with him because you were afraid he was ultimately going to do what he ended up doing, because that's what you were putting out there for him to do. Okay? So be aware of that your doubts and your fears will definitely manifest into your life very, very rapidly and show up in ways that you may not even be aware of. And it may be coming down onto you for the reasoning behind certain things that you may have felt a victim of. You being in a victim consciousness of, I've been hurt before, I'm afraid to open my heart up, what if this person does to me what so-and-so does, can again attract to you having those things happen again. So you want to be clear with that stuff and make sure that you're replacing doubts with knowing. Just know and trust that the universe will deliver to you what you're putting out, as long as you're vibrationally matching it and you're not bringing all these doubts and these fears and this past bullshit into things with you. And I know that's not always easy, but we will definitely talk about vulnerability next week, because that definitely ties in with this and how to be more vulnerable. But it comes down to healing, and it comes down to, looking at this stuff and then looking at number 5, which is your beliefs. So your beliefs are basically what create your reality. And if you're believing things like, I'm not attractive, and I'm not smart, and I'm not funny, and I don't have enough money, and I'm not worthy of this, and every time I deal with people, they don't see me for who I am, or you could be kind of mixing your beliefs and your doubts together with things like, I wish that they would just see me, how much I love them, or why can't they see what I'm trying to give to them, or why can't they just realize like how powerful this is, or blah 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 blah. And basically you're just confirming and confirming and confirming all of the things that you don't want to be confirming, and all of the things that do not feel good to you. So instead of focusing on those fears and those doubts and those beliefs, you want to shift them. You want to start replacing them. And there was an entire video on beliefs, actually 2 videos on beliefs, and a meditation that can help you to start replacing them. But you want to start also focusing on the positive things about this person, because it's not just beliefs about yourself. It could be beliefs about the person you're trying to connect with, or it could be beliefs about, your past connections that are influencing your ability to bring new connections in that are going to be healthy, or that you can trust and feel confident within. And allow yourself to start looking at all the good qualities about you, the good qualities about this person. Maybe they ghosted you, or maybe they, did something that wasn't good, or maybe somebody in your past did. But start focusing on the good things. Start focusing on, there's got to be good things. If you're here trying to manifest love with that person, there must be good things about them, right? So instead of thinking about all the nasty negative things, or all the nasty negative things about you, start thinking about all the good, awesome, amazing things that you bring to the table and that they bring to the table, so that you can shift the belief system, you can shift the fear, the energy, the vibration, the feelings, and the thoughts that are creating who you are in this moment, and helping you to align with who you're trying to become, so that you can attract what you're wanting, okay? And being confident is also important within your belief system. Be confident to shift these beliefs and to affirm the new things. Like, I am attractive, I am smart, I am intelligent, I am full of wisdom, I am funny, I am, healthy, I am abundant, I am a loving, nurturing person, I am, healing, I am open, I am receptive, I am vulnerable, I am intimate, I am sexy. Start really trying to shift this and start believing this about yourself, so that you can emit this, so that people can be attracted to it. Because if you're believing all those nasty negative things, that's the energy you're rippling out. It's kind of going to push people away from you. They're going to feel it. Like if you're lonely and sad and, you know, believing all these crappy things about you, that's the, you know, stuff that you ripple off. People are going to kind of want to back away from that because it's not attractive. And it's not that you're not attractive, it's just that you are believing things that make you feel like you're not, so then you kind of start to like ripple an aura about you that's it's not that you're an unattractive person, it's just an unattractive energy. It's like the opposite of what you're trying to do. And number 5 is patience, okay? And I know sometimes people get upset or frustrated about patience, especially those who deal with like the twin flame readings and stuff. Like when they see temperance, they're like, I'm so sick of being patient, I give up, which is exactly what you're telling the universe when you're impatient, is that I give up. I don't want to wait for my blessing. I don't want to wait for, you know, Joe or somebody better. I give up. And so you get to start over basically every time you put that out there. You know, and again, every negative thought that you think, every negative thought that you're speaking or feeling is 3 times more powerful than a positive one. So when you catch yourself slipping into this place of like getting impatient or getting triggered or feeling like inadequate, you want to cancel, clear, and delete whatever it was that was connected to that thought or that feeling and replace it with something positive 3 times. So if it, like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm so ugly, or oh, I'm so whatever, replace it with something more positive, like, oh, I'm so beautiful, and, you know, I'm healing, and I'm glowing, and I'm shifting, and I'm rising, you know, I am divine, I am healthy, I am worthy. Just shift that energy and keep continuously rising up within it, and commit to your desire, because like I was saying in the beginning of this doesn't happen overnight. These types of things that I'm talking about are deeply seated within you. Belief systems come from the day that you're born. Belief systems come from every trauma you've been through. You know, the things that you're thinking and feeling, you can't just turn them on and off instantly. You have to acknowledge where they came from, and that takes time and that takes patience. But you need to get committed to the desire that you have to get to that outcome, to do the work, and to take the time that is required to do it right. If you want to watch one of those quick, you know, manifest a text videos, go ahead. But you're going to find yourself right back where you started the next day when you aren't able to maintain the vibration that you were holding to receive the text message, or the minute that they communicate with you and you ripple off that fear, that doubt of, oh my God, what if they ghost me again? There they go. You got to work on those things and start replacing them with new versions of the software that is informing you and creating the vibration that you're rippling out around you, okay? And I'm not saying to just wait. I'm saying actively waiting or actively being patient in the fact that, you know what you want, you know what you're, you know, envisioning, and you're putting yourself out there in this new way. And you're making space as you're doing this stuff. You know, you're doing this for yourself, and you're doing this for like for the integrity of the relationship that you're trying to connect with, and you're doing it so that you show up in a beautiful whole way for this other person. Okay? So try to look at it in a more positive way. It's like, I'm good in this moment. I'm happy in this moment. I know what I'm doing is good for me. I know where I'm headed is better for me. And I'm okay with the wait. I'm okay with, you know, doing what I got to do now to get to where I really want to be. I don't need a quick fix, because that's not going to do anything. You know, ultimately, it's going to just set you back, or it's going to trigger you and hurt you again and set you into a place that you may have already once been, or even confirm the doubts and the beliefs that were already up in there. When you do something like that, manifest a quick text, and then it goes to shit real quick, that's gonna, you know, cement in those doubts and those fears and those beliefs that were already running amok up in there anyways. So you really just be patient with your healing process, while also living your life and enjoying your life and being happy within the moment of your life. So number 6 is about loving yourself and loving who you're becoming and your goals, okay? So a good way to do this is, you know, to become like more aware of you and become more likable about yourself. Like acknowledge what you like about yourself. Start doing mirror work. I think we talked about this in one of the belief videos within the series. But, you know, if there's something about you that you like more than another, like physically, focus on that and how that makes you feel, and that energy that it invokes inside of you when you're able to look at that part of yourself. And if there's parts of you that you don't like so much, try to maintain that feeling and those thoughts and that energy that surrounds the thing that you do like as you move it over other parts of your body. And get used to it and start looking at these things and asking yourself why you don't like these things and what about them is there, that you would want to change, and why would you want to change it? And is it because of yourself, or is it because of something society has told you, or is it because you saw somebody else, that maybe your ex had, or their ex had something, or maybe you think that the person you're interested in likes somebody with something different from you. Those are shallow belief things. Those are things that are not really supportive of you. And you really want to get vulnerable and authentic with yourself to realize that you are perfect as you are. And if you can love yourself as you are, fully, confidently, and whole, other person will love you in that way too. And they'll feel safe to be vulnerable with you and feel safe that you're going to love them fully as well. Because I can guarantee you, whomever you've got on their pedestal, they've got their own insecurities and doubts. And they may even feel certain ways about you and be insecure and have doubts about, if they match up with you, or if there's things that they don't have that's good enough. We all have it. That's part of the human condition here. So, try to become more aware of those things, and also internally start looking at the parts of you that you really love about yourself, like the qualities that you have, the things that you bring to the table. Try to be more happy and more confident, because again, that's attractive. Like I said, being sad and being mad and being angry and being is not very attractive. It's kind of like, I don't really want to hang out with that person because they're just like, they're a downer. You want to be uplifting and happy and smiling and joyful. And even if you're not seeing this person, you want to be that way because they're going to feel it. Especially you have that energetic connection, which when you connect with a particular person on a sexual level or on a romantic, like energetic soul level, they feel your energy. They feel the shift within you. They may not know it consciously. They may not feel it, physically, but they feel it. And if you're out there, miserable and sad and just sitting around waiting for them to all of a sudden, have some major awakening that they've been wrong this whole time and that they do love this person who's sad and miserable and just waiting for them, you're probably going to be waiting a long time. So instead of doing that to yourself, again, become responsible for shifting who you are in this moment. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, but being happier is a good thing. And it's also going to be more attractive to whomever you've been dealing with. And it works as an attraction for them, okay? And even, thinking about who you're going to be when you're in that love situation is important here too. So who you're becoming through this healing process, who you're becoming through this connection. So start thinking about that. Like, what do you see yourself as being within this relationship with them? Do you have like a goal of ultimately being the mom, or ultimately being the wife, or ultimately being the husband? Or is it, ultimately just going to be the two of you, but you're going to nurture this person? Like, think about how you're going to be showing up in that relationship and how that's going to be different from who you are in this moment. The things about you that would change a little bit when you're in a, connection with somebody. I know for myself, the way I'm living my life now is completely different from how I was living my life when I was in my long-term relationship. And I know for myself, like, if somebody was here with me, I would do things differently than I do them now. Not that I'm doing things wrong or things like that. It's just that you'd be more aware of other person, even energetically, physically, you would make space for them. So if you've got clutter in your home, clear out a drawer, make a space for their toothbrush, make a space for their shampoo, make a space for this person in your life in all areas. And like, when you wake up in the morning, imagine that they're already there beside you. Imagine that you share time with them beside you day to day. Again, this is things that we really went deep within in the first couple of videos, but this is important. You got to start remembering who you're becoming is a big important part of manifesting what you're wanting. So start allowing yourself to be that creative, fertile version of yourself and making space for that. Now, something else that came to me while I was, coming up with this list for today was live, laugh, love. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen those signs where it's like, live, laugh, love. I feel like that's a perfect representation for what you need to be doing within these situations, or when you're trying to manifest and shift and heal and do the power of attraction, okay? So you want to live your life, right? You want to be happy in the moment. You want to be out there and enjoying it. And you want to be laughing and having fun and shifting that vibration and raising it up, because I can guarantee you sitting at home sad and alone and crying is keeping it down here. And being a victim is keeping you a victim. But when you're happy and you're laughing and you're joyful, you are attracting love. So living plus laughing equals love. Okay? So I don't know why it came to me that way, but I think it was just an easy way for me to remember, and I see it all the time. I actually have a sign downstairs. So live plus laugh equals love. Remember that. Instead of, getting all, live your life. Laugh. Have fun. And that is going to get you to the love that you're wanting. And the last part of this is something that I know people really struggle with. It's being willing to let them go. All right? And that seems like completely opposite of what like the whole concept here is, but it's true. If you heard the whole thing of if you love somebody, let them go, set them free. If they're yours, they will return. If they're not, and if they really love you or whatever, they'll return. And if they don't, then they never did. They were never yours. That type of saying there. So basically, it's not that you're, because I can feel the resistance with some people, and that right there in itself is causing an issue. If you're clinging to this person in that way, where it's like I can't imagine like never having them, or I don't want to do that part, you're creating resistance. You're placing too much importance on that person. That's a codependent behavior. That's an attachment to that person, and it's very unhealthy. You're basically saying that unless that ultimately you're going to end up with this person, that nothing in your life is worth living for, or it's not worth you doing this stuff for yourself, and that's just not okay or healthy. And I get it, because I know I was there before in my past. I was very codependent with things, and I was very, attached to a certain outcome with a particular person for a very long time, over a decade, okay? It got worse over time, I feel, because of certain things and certain belief systems coming in that kind of cemented it in, and also because of other trauma that I've been through. So you really need to be aware of those things and look at the relationships you've been in up into this point with your parents, with your exes, with your friends, with your family, with your careers, with yourself, and then getting honest with yourself and realizing, are you putting too much importance on this person? And if they never show up, that has to be okay, because in some instances that may be the case. And that's why in the beginning of this I said, be clear about what you want with the universe, but also say, I would really like to be with, Joe or someone better, because Joe may not be the one. Even if you, were told by somebody that that's your twin flame, nobody can tell you that. You can tell you that, but you can also have that shift over time. You may, have that be the belief system that you really fully believe in at one point, and then later down the road realize that, oh, maybe that wasn't my twin flame. Maybe that was just an unhealthy attachment to somebody that I really wanted it to be with, And I'm not saying that's the case for everybody. I'm just saying that, having that, ability to even look at it in that way of, maybe it isn't, or maybe this will never work out, is a part of the process of healing. And it is also a process of releasing that resistance and that attachment that is blocking a lot of people. In doing that and being able to just be like, you know what, their happiness is more important than us being together. As long as I know that they're happy and fulfilled, and that they're loved and they're supported, then I'm good. And if you can't feel that way, if you're getting jealous and triggered, maybe they're married. Maybe they were married when you met them, and you're one of those people that's like, fuck the karmic, and always angry about it. It's not a healthy place to be. And think about that person that they were with when they met you. I'm sure that they're going to have to go through some trauma, or they may have already been through some shit if that person cheated with you, or is, ultimately going to leave that person to be with you. Try to have compassion and try to come from a place of love. And it's easier to do those things when you love yourself and when you're not placing all of this importance on somebody else, and realizing that it's okay, that if this person were to never show up, you're still going to be okay. And I think part of the issue too is people get really tied up within the whole, twin flame being the other part of your soul thing or whatever. they have a vibrational match, which is basically what this is all about. And your twin flame is a mirror to show you the things that you need to heal. But if you go through this whole healing process, you will ultimately get to that place. You know what I mean? Like all of these steps, doing the belief work, getting clear with the universe, dealing with your doubts, with your past traumas, being patient and loving yourself unconditionally, ultimately will get you to that place of being like, you know what, I'm okay. I can take it or leave it. And that's when you get there, it will either release the resistance so that you are now able to show up because you are on that vibrational match and you mirror each other and you're able to be healed and whole and aligned, because that's what twin flames do. They're supposed to trigger the healing that is needed inside of you so that you can become the best version of yourself. Or you'll realize, like some people may get to this point and be like, why was I ever holding on to that? Like, why was I ever so like, oh my God, I need that person? You may actually get to a point where you rise up above and realize that, like, it wasn't what you thought it was. Or maybe, you know, they have now healing to do so that they can come up and meet you at that place, you know, or vice versa. And I'm just saying this because I feel like it's an important thing that people need to kind of start to take into consideration instead of placing all of their hopes and all of their dreams and all of their desires on a particular outcome with a particular person, because it's just blocking you from what you ultimately want. So for some of you, it could be blocking you from the ultimate person you're supposed to be with, and for some of you, it's blocking you from that person because of that attachment. You know, you really need to practice detachment and unconditional love, and that means being okay if they say, you know what, I choose in this lifetime that I'm going to be with this person, or I choose in this lifetime that I'm not going to be with anybody, but I still don't want to be with you. It may hurt, but if you really truly love that person unconditionally, then you should be okay with it. And believe me, I get this. I know how difficult this is. Last year, when, like, if I look back to how I was last year or the year before, even to how I am this year, I see a big shift. And I know it's because I've been doing this stuff with myself. Like, I've been acknowledging these things and listening to my spirit and my soul and trying to, you know, get out of some of the things that I was doing that was detrimental. You know, it was almost like an addictive behaviors that come along with these attachments or these codependent type of feelings that we have inside of us, which usually come from other things. It's not their fault. We usually have this inside of us anyways. But I do know now, like I've even said before, like I want them to be happy. Like I'm okay if they never were to come back towards me. As long as they're happy, that's good. And I'm not somebody that's like gung-ho on trying to find a relationship right now, and I'm definitely not gung-ho on trying to manifest one with that person. I'm just trying to manifest the healing that needs to happen within myself at this point so that I can continue to do what I've got to do for my future and for my who I'm becoming for me, not for a relationship. And I think once I'm done with that, that's when I'll be like, okay, now I'm ready to be like really super focused on manifesting the ideal relationship. And I feel like even in saying that, being in that place, like where you're not super focused on manifesting the relationship, you're more so just focused on being, you know, good and whole and healed, is usually when someone shows up, okay? And it's usually who's supposed to show up. And if it's going to be that twin flame or the person from your past, it will be. Or if it's going to be somebody even better, it will be. But we don't want to cling on to anything. We want to allow the universe to deliver to us what's supposed to come. And we want to, you know, give that person that freedom and that love to go where it's going to support them most without being like, whoa, about it. Okay? And I've even said, I think I told somebody recently, I was like, sometimes it feels like it would be easier if they did just go like find someone else and get like in a serious commitment and married, because then it's like, okay, they're no longer available. You know what I mean? Like that tells that part of me, like I had that for a little while. Like I don't even really think about those things anymore. But last year I was like, that was my fear, was that they would meet somebody else and get like in a serious relationship. This year I'm like, it would be probably easier if they did, you know? So I definitely feel the shift. And I think it's, again, a result of doing this work. So just be patient with yourself. Don't get caught up on this stuff. And take your time as you're healing all of this. And just know that it's not about them. It's about you. And go deeper into the things that I've discussed here. And when you get to the end of this process, you'll either, unite with the person that you're wanting to unite with, or attract in the person that you're meant to be with. Okay? So hopefully this assists you guys. And like I said, next week we'll do the vulnerability, which I definitely feel is important. And I know, like, I can see, like, even through doing this work and all of that, I know where I sabotaged my connection. I know where my doubts and my fears and my beliefs and things that I did and my inability to be vulnerable messed things up with that person that I was dealing with. So that's something that you'll find too. I feel like instead of being a victim, you start to recognize, like, oh shit, I'm kind of at fault here too. Or, you know what, if I hadn't have been holding on to this may have not have gone down the way that it went down. Or if I had just opened up and said this, none of these questions or these things would be like weighing in the air. So we're definitely going to go deeper with all of that stuff, and hopefully this assists you. Like I said, if you haven't already followed along, or if you just want to go back for a refresher, the other parts of this can help you again, and that meditation is definitely supportive for those of you who need to shift your belief system. Okay? So thank you very much. In Mune. Namaste.